You see if it's recording?
It is recording right now.
Great, thanks. So for those of you who may have just come in because we started the recording a little late, you are at the power lunch of the San Diego Equality Business Alliance Association, and this is the February edition for 2021. Rest of the stuff you can catch up on your own. So we are taping this. It'll be posted to YouTube, and from there, it'll find its way onto our Facebook page. This month's meeting is sponsored by freshenyourphoto.com, where we take photos that are not in great shape by any stretch, maybe even stuck to the glass like this one, and make them look nice. Or just change things you don't want, like a next daughter-in-law who's no longer part of the family. So don't tolerate your photo, freshen your photo. If you'd like to be the sponsor of the month, you can let us know by sending a note to info@sdeba.org, and we will tell you how that works. So helping us out today, we have Jeremy Wilson, who logged on. He's going to be jumping in and helping me with tech stuff like that. Garrison Fletcher also helping me with things like that. Dorian at the last minute couldn't show up. He's got an important client meeting that came up. And Brenda Geary's come on board our team. So glad to have you here. She will be helping out with the timer job. I'll explain that in a little bit. Moving on. Come on, click. There it goes. Oh, there's our board. We want to thank our board who are always doing a lot of stuff. I didn't know how much until I got involved, how much stuff they do in the background to keep the organization on track, making things happen, and legal. There's a lot of stuff to do. So our thank you to the board. What does SDEBA stand for? How about Betty? Would you unmute yourself for a moment and read our mission statement to the group?
Sure, I can do that. The San Diego Equality Business Association promotes LGBTQ influence through business ownership, workforce equality, and active consumerism, creating prosperity to support equality, diversity, and inclusion.
Sounds good to me. If you're not on board with that, this is not the right meeting for you. But if it sounds good, you are welcome, and let's move forward. Part of membership includes you get to have a profile on our website so that if people say, I want to do business with the kind of people who'd want to be in the San Diego Equality Business Association, they get to search out people who are members by a topic, by a name, and find you. Like one of our board members here, if you were looking for someone doing tax preparation, Lacey is one of the people who would come up. We also have an app that tells you what's going on in terms of upcoming events and connecting member to member and the ability to send tips to one another. So membership includes that app as well. More things that happen. We have educational sessions. We have social events. We have a job board if people want to post something's available so we can be looking. We have advertising and posting opportunities. Free membership in a business networking group. We'll talk about what that is and why that's so valuable. And the use of the SDEBA logo in your materials so people know that you support our organization. But the main thing people talk about usually when they talk about being a member of our organization is our great mixers, where everybody can get together and get to know each other and learn each other's business and exchange cards or text each other if a card is too antiquated. And the mixers, if you remember, how great well, actually, that isn't one of our mixers. I think that's Oktoberfest. Yeah, that would be the kind of mixer we normally have. Something where people are getting together, having a little food, getting to know each other. But we realize that right now, for a little bit longer at least, if we did a mixer, it would look more like that. Not really the best way to connect. So we are doing mixers that look more like this. And as those of you who got on the call a few minutes early noticed, boom, it just started happening. Everyone was talking, getting to know each other. And we're going to have a more organized way of doing that during this meeting so everybody gets heard. But that was fun. So what is today about? It's about giving you a chance to share what you offer to a larger section of the SDEBA community and our guests. It gives you a chance to learn about what others offer in our community. It provides education in various areas to our membership, sometimes directly from us, sometimes from my interview guests like today. And it helps grow the SDEBA family. The more people who come, the more people we get to share what we do with. What this isn't, we can't do everything in an hour. It's not exclusive by industry. So you may find 2 tax prep people, 2 realtors, something like that. And for this particular kind of meeting, that's totally fine. Maybe one of them is more in line with what you're looking for. Maybe you want to meet them both and see who is the right fit for you. A venue to learn intimately about each other's businesses. We don't have a lot of time. This is a kickoff. We want you to connect afterwards, chat, join a breakout room, give each other a call. That's the right time for that. It's not a replacement for the business networking groups. What these are is groups within SDEBA where there's only one person per industry and we get to know each other's businesses intimately. I can tell you all about the people in my Thursday group and what they do and why they do it. We each report, take a chance to give speeches to one another so we get to know just why we would trust and recommend this person. It's not a commitment. Dorian couldn't make it today at the last minute. If he was going to close a deal today, that's where he should be. But if you can be here, if the time can work, we hope you'll come once a month and join us. And finally, it's not a place to sell to us. Doesn't mean you can't get clients out of this. That might happen, but it's way more valuable instead of trying to get 35 people here to become your clients. If you get 35 people advocating for you and their whole network of people, so much more valuable. So who do we welcome? SDBA members always want you to be here, and guests who want to be here. Through at least March, we're going to have everyone welcome to come. We may extend that. We'll let you know before the next meeting. But for now, at least through March, everyone, no charge to come to the power lunches. Our meeting format looks like this. I will wrap up the intro after a little bit. We'll have our member introductions where each of you will have what I call a hot 29. You have up to 29 seconds to tell us anything you want to about yourself or your business. At 30 seconds, we're going to stop to make sure that everybody gets a fair chance. You don't have to use all 29 seconds, but use as much of it as you can. We'll have our guest interview with Fain Brandt. We'll talk about what upcoming events there are for the organizations. We'll allow you all to do a little bit of testimonials for one another. If there's somebody you've used their business or you know about them, give a shout out for them for about 10-15 seconds. And finally, we'll connect with me call outs. When do people want to get together? Hey, so-and-so, call me afterwards. See, this is me, okay? And that way you can get connected with them. At the end, we'll also even give you the chance, if there's somebody you want to talk to send you to a breakout room, and you can stay in there and talk with them right off the bat. How will you know it's your turn to talk? That's why I had you turn on the participants window. You'll notice that it's pretty much alphabetical. There may be a couple of co-hosts and team members at the top, but after that, it's going to go alphabetically. So when you hear your name, please don't do it before that. But when you hear me say your name, that's when you unmute. The reason I want you to wait until you hear your name is if you unmute a little early, you shoot to the top of the list and I no longer see you there. So when you hear your name, unmute. You can give your presentation orally, or you can do a screen share. If you're comfortable enough with screen sharing to get that in your 30 seconds, great. If you haven't done it before, this is probably not the time to start practicing, or your 30 seconds might get lost. And then afterwards, do remute if you've been sharing, unshare. Finally, in the chat, when you're done, please put your big five, your name, your website, your phone, your email, your LinkedIn address, so that people who are intrigued by your 30 seconds know how to reach you. Keeping us on time today, we have Brenda, our timekeeper. I recommend that you pin her right before it's your turn to speak so that you can see her, because she's going to be giving you some signals. Brenda, you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. So I'm thrilled to be able to help out. So we're going to have some visual cues for you, and I'm very low tech. So at the 20-second time stamp, I'm going to hold up this yellow card, and this yellow card is just letting you know that you've got 10 seconds left in your introduction and that you should start wrapping up. And then at the 30-second mark, I'm going to hold up this red card right here. And this is your visual stop sign. This is your indicator that you should stop talking. And then the next person will be able to share their introduction.
Sounds good. If we could even maybe get that red card up at 25 seconds, that's what we had discussed before. I forgot to let you know that.
Okay.
And at 30 seconds, you know very well, that's when I hear you say, thank you.
Yes, and sometimes people will miss the red card. So I'll just interrupt you kindly with all my heart. And that's that virtual hook.
Yes, it's a thank you is a lovely, sweet way of saying you're done. But it sounds so much better when Brenda says it that way. Okay, moving on. Some of the intro strategies, jump in with what's interesting about you. So just saying your name and your company, we probably aren't going to remember that at the end of the 30 seconds. But if we hear you talk about what you do and go, I need to know more about that. What's her name? Save that for the end. That's my recommendation anyway. And think in terms of what would help people understand what you do and refer people to you more than just buy right on the spot. And it's good if you can vary what you say a little bit each month. So it's always an intriguing thing to say, what is Brenda going to talk about this time? That kind of thing. All right. My challenge to you is to find at least 2 people whose pitches make you either think, I wouldn't mind hearing more about that, or that's someone I could have business symmetry with. I should get in touch with him or her. And then please reach out to them. That's the whole point of it all. So away we go. I have to get the participants list back on my screen to see what's what. I'm going to start things off with Jeremy and then Brenda, and then we'll go alphabetically starting with Adriana. So Jeremy, if you would unmute yourself, I'm going to unshare my screen in case anyone else wants to share screen. Otherwise, we'll just look at everybody in speaker mode. Jeremy, over to you.
Thank you, Milo. Hey, everyone. I'm Jeremy Wilson, president of San Diego Quality Business Association since May of 2019. So nice to see all of you. I'm going to spend the rest of my time talking about our Member Plus app. available on Android and Apple. It looks like this. There's the logo, Member Plus. I know it's kind of backwards, but with the Member Plus app, we have a community feed, a real-time chat of the association going on. Search for a job. We have hot deals by LGBT. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.
That was it, quick and easy. And now we're going to head over to Brenda.
So as a result of our products working at the cellular level, our customers lower their inflammation, which is a really big deal right now, and we boost immune support and for optimal health and wellness. At my sickest, I was in bed 20 hours a day on 24 prescription medications, and I wasn't living, I was just existing. So my passion for health and wellness comes from my journey, and I want to help people avoid that story. Brenda Geary with Your Best Health Activated, helping you add quality years to your life and life to your years.
Well done. Heading over now into our alphabetical list, starting with Adriana Bruner.
Thank you so much. I'm Adriana Brunner. I work for my Point Credit Union, formerly Point Loma Credit Union. You will not forget me because I have probably the thickest accent here. So I'm originally from Colombia, and we are your local credit union from anything from personal accounts to business. So if you need anything, you know where to find me. Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana. Adriana, take a look at your screen right now. I use my Point book every single day. I keep my appointments in it now.
Thank
So
you, Milo.
one of my favorite little gifts that I got. Up next, we have, oh, Brenda just jumped up. Up next, we have Barbara Eldridge. Oh, you need to unmute, Barbara. Darn that mute.
There we go. Barbara Eldridge with Mind Masters, the support system for the small business owner, so that they get that extra edge to achieving their goals through weekly, now they're Zoom meetings, and focus and accountability comes with it. We invite people to visit our groups, so check us out.
Great opportunity for people to get the experience of everyone in the room. Thanks. Next, we have CJ.
The internet is a jungle. Hi, I've been a website developer for over 20 years. I help business owners by creating websites, helping them maintain their website. I'm also a speaker and author. In just a second, I'll share the link to get to this page where you can check out my free video workshop and my podcast, Ask a Web Geek. I want you to make your website work for you. In my last 2 episodes of my podcast, you can learn how I'm doing this border in episode 40. And my special request, please follow me on Twitch. Learn more in episode 39. CJ Gilbert, Ask a Web Geek. We understand the internet is a jungle.
Grrr. Just doesn't sound right without that at the end. Thanks, CJ. You're a wealth of information for us always. Next up, Celeste Ramos.
Thank you, Milo. My name is Celeste, and I work with My Point Credit Union as our Business Development Officer. I work alongside Adriana, and we are proud to be here. During this past year, we've been helping our community and our small businesses. We have also been offering financial literacy workshops online. So please visit our website if you need help with that. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks. In fact, we're going to be co-sponsoring a membership with Celeste, or at least that's seen from my point, on financial wellness coming up. I'll be talking about that later.
Thank you.
Next up, sure. Next up, Chris Mclaughlin.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Mclaughlin, and it's great to see you all on a Wednesday. I'm with my HR team. We're human resource consultants, and it's important. Sometimes you need somebody else in the room. We had a client do a termination yesterday without us in the room, and it went really bad. And sometimes you just never know. So we're here to help with your HR needs. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Chris. Coming up next, we have Courtney Quinn.
So this is my first time with you all. So cheers for that. And you all are going to love what I do. For most of you will, because I work in the wine industry. I have 2 different companies. I used to import wine and still bring in some stuff through OWOC Wines. And then I also do a lot of marketing and other services for wineries or people who do business that want to connect with wine. And that's for pathtowine.com. And glad to be here with you, everyone here today.
Glad to have you. We'll be even more glad when we can all get together in person and experience some of that. As the names are bouncing around, I miss Betty Brink. My apologies. Back to Betty.
Hi, I'm Betty Brink, coming to you from the shadows because my ring light died 20 minutes ago. I help men and women find the confidence and self-esteem to reach and maintain their weight goals by tapping into joy and living their best lives in every moment. I don't give out diet and exercise plans. We work on the mental and emotional challenges that we all face with self-esteem and body image. I don't care what changes you're making to your life. It's a game of solitaire, but it should never be played alone. Let's do this together. Betty Brink, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. You're so bright, you make up for the light. It's just fine. We're going to skip down the alphabet a little bit. We got nobody in between now and the G's. So we're down to Garrison Fletcher.
Hi, everyone. How many of you have a graphic designer that you've used in the past? Raise a hand. And how many of those graphic designers were mind readers? My name's Garrison Fletcher. My company is Apex Typing Graphics, and I do my best to be a mind reader. What makes me unique is I have a degree in industrial organizational psychology, so I can get into the mindset of you as well as your clients to assist you or your referrals in getting the information that they need. So please remember Garrison Fletcher, Apex Typing Graphics, and my philosophy is I don't care if you did it yourself, as long as it doesn't look like you did it yourself.
Awesome, thank you.
Nice job mixing it up. I haven't heard that pitch from you before, and I've heard you pitch many times. Good for you. Our next person up is Gina Dunmore.
This year in 2021 and 2022, business meals are 100% write-off. I wrote a book on how to use QuickBooks. I'll teach myself out of my own job. I also wrote a book, the other half is what is legally a tax write-off. So everybody drinking a glass of water right now, you're gonna need dish soap and a paper towel to deal with that as well.
Thank you. Next up from far, far away, no longer Californian, Jasmine Ball.
Hi, so this is my first time on the meeting as well. So I'm a financial advisor. Why I do what I do is my dad was a self-employed butcher for 45 years, went to retired, and then had to go back to work 2 years later. And he's 71 and just had an interview yesterday. So I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So that's why I help people plan for their goals, make their dreams reality. And I am from California, but currently in snowy Oklahoma. Thank you.
But it's not keeping me from using Jasmine's services. She can work fine via Zoom. It works out great. Over next now to Katie Powers. Unmute, Katie. I see her in the list. I'm trying to see if she's actually on the screen.
Katie put in.
She's driving right now. So she
Oh, okay. Katie, if you can pipe in later, we'll come back to you to see if that's a possibility. For now, we'll move on to Leanne Davis.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Leanne Davis. My company is Promo Ventures. My why for doing this is my background was apparel design, and we customize, our specialty is custom apparel decoration. And we've basically got you covered from head to toe between hats and great apparel and even socks. So if you want to reach out to me, I'll put my info in the chat.
Thank you. And everyone, please do continue to put your information in the chat. Next, we have Maggie Pound. Do we have Maggie? I see her name, but where's Maggie? There she is. Hey, you need to unmute yourself, Maggie. If you're talking, we're not hearing you. And I think you're talking because your mouth is moving. You're still muted, though. Maggie, you need to hit the mute thing. Try Alt-A if you're on. There you go.
Okay. Third time's the charm, huh? So, yeah, so my name is Maggie Pound. I have a business called HR Connectors. And the special thing about that business is Milo created the graphic for our company 14 years ago when we worked together. So, and what I do is I connect businesses with exceptional HR resources. So I definitely want to know about Jeremy. And I also am representing Just Spot It, which is a social emotional program for employees. Thank you.
Thanks. Wow, HR Connectors, that does take me back. Thanks. Next up, we have Maggie Schroeder. Sorry, list bounced a little bit. Maggie, you're up.
Schroeder, you got it. That was perfect. So hi, everyone. Maggie Schroeder. I am a partner at Higgs Fletcher Mack. We're a law firm downtown. My practice is basically business litigation and business bankruptcy. And I know I probably just lost everyone with the word bankruptcy, but it doesn't have to be a scary word. I can help clients in any sort of business dispute, especially creditors who are looking to get paid from businesses or people who maybe are in this zone of insolvency, right? They're not paying their bills on time. Maybe they've threatened to file bankruptcy. That's really when I can come in and offer advice and protect your rights in a bankruptcy case.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thanks.
30 seconds flies by.
Yeah,
Nicely
sorry,
done,
I
though.
like to talk.
Mary, you're up next to my list. I know you're going to be our speaker today, but would you like to take 30 seconds or you just want to pass for now? Either way is
Of
fine.
course I want to take that for
I knew
30
you would.
seconds. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Mary Fain Brandt with a LinkedIn bakery, serving up bite-sized tips so you don't get overwhelmed. I help you get known and get found and fill your pipeline with qualified leads on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the only platform that you can reach out to CEOs on and COOs. So they're not over on Instagram and Facebook playing. The serious professional power players are over on LinkedIn. I will show you how to connect, cultivate, and convert.
I am so glad we gave you your 30 seconds. Thanks for that, Mary. Next up, we have Paula.
Hello, everybody. Paula Reeder, National Processing Company. And I cater to small to medium businesses, helping them with their merchant processing services. I am local on site, local customer support. I am a proud member of the Tuesday Morning BNG group and a member of SDEBA, and I'm here to help anybody with their processing needs.
Thank you. Leaping down the list into the T's, Tamara Z.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tamara Z with Coldwell Banker West, helping my clients make smart real estate investments decisions for the past 18 years. I've also been a proud member of this organization for 18 years. If anybody in the organization has any questions about real estate, even if you're not ready to buy or sell, I am available to assist. Feel free to reach out to me.
Available and extremely knowledgeable. Next up, Todd Kazin.
Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Todd. I'm with Consolidated Concepts. We are your total print and promotional products resource. So we've been in business for 20 years. If you are looking at a way of getting connected with your clients, one way is through mail. We just did some Valentine cards. So if you have a unique way or a message that you want to send out to your clients, we can help you with that. So that's it.
Thanks, Todd. Todd is the last person on our list. If you forgot to put your contact information in the list, it's not too late. You can still do that now. I'm the only person left to go, but I'm going to just wait for just a moment. I'm going to give Jeremy a chance to share a little bit of information about the BNGs first while I get myself reset up here. So Jeremy, if you could do that and let me know if you're going to be sharing screen so we don't bump into each other. Will you be?
No, that's fine.
Okay, then back to Jeremy.
So for those of you that aren't members of our organization, you've heard the word BNG from several of our members, and what the BNG is it's something like this, but it's more intimate, and they meet weekly. And also there is no competing interests. So if you are the real estate agent or an insurance agent, you represent that sector exclusively. It's similar to groups like LATIP and BNI, but much more fun. Hello. And much less inexpensive. You know, our membership is only $33 a month, or you could prepay $400 for the year. That not only gives you access to BNGs, but all of our events such as this, and especially when live events reopen. So our BNGs have been going on for 20 plus years. And the folks in the BNG, it's a community, and you get to know each other on a very personal level as well as business level. So one of the probably top benefits of joining this organization are our BNGs. Thanks, Milo.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to switch back over now, get that Zoom going again, share the screen. And I'm sharing Outlook by mistake. That's not what I'm trying to share. Are you now seeing me? Yes? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to be sure. So I am Milo Shapiro, public speaking coach. And when people come to me, there's usually two things they want to improve in their speaking, either their quality or they want to get over the anxiety. But most people who try and get over these things and work on these two areas, they know they're supposed to join Toastmasters or classes. Well, here's the problem I see with those. Have you ever wanted to learn things in front of people, or is it easier to learn them in your own privacy? Did you learn to drive or to cook or to do math while 50 people were staring at you? Probably not. How about we make you a better speaker before we put you in front of an audience again? So that's not the kind of way we want to go about it. I'm Milo Shapiro, helping you make breakthroughs so you're prepared, polished, and powerful anytime you have reason to speak through publicdynamics.com. And that brings us to out of the share out of the sharing mode, back to the room where we can turn things back over to Mary. Mary, I never got a formal introduction to you, so I'm going to kind of say a little bit about what I know about you, and I'm just going to let you take it from there, and then we'll get back to the question mode. So what I know about Mary is she was recommended to me as someone who was a LinkedIn expert, helping people to say that it's not just a place to post your resume and hope for the best. It's something you got to be working. It's something you got to be making connections on. It's something you got to be finding all the angles, and it's a lot to know. It's a lot to find out on your own. Fortunately, we have someone like Mary who has devoted herself to finding out what are all the ways to maximize the use of LinkedIn so that you're going to be someone who is really working it. I know there are some people who don't ever make a cold call anymore. LinkedIn is their entire way of reaching out to people. It's that potentially powerful. So welcome, Mary. So glad to have you with us today. And while Outlook is rebooting, because that was part of my problem, I'm going to ask the one question I do know. You have a process that you call the 3 C's. And I'm just going to let you start talking about that, and I'll interject here and there. And then we'll get back to questions.
Perfect. Yeah, let's make this conversational. And if you guys have questions, I mean, we've got some questions that we're going to answer. So like, if you really want to know everything about LinkedIn, I need about 16 hours, right? Because it's a complicated platform. I'm not going to lie. When I started training on LinkedIn, I used to call it the ugly duckling of the social media platforms because it was clunky, wasn't user friendly, but it's grown into this beautiful swan with lots of functionality and new features rolling out all the time. As a matter of fact, last year, you guys, they rolled out over 20 new features. And I bet you didn't know about that. Because you know what? LinkedIn doesn't do a, hey, guess what? We've got new features. Us LinkedIn strategists and trainers were like, hey, did you see this rolled out? And sometimes we get an email about it, but not all the time. So LinkedIn is complicated, and you have to know someone who knows it and is like, not hooking up, but holding hands with LinkedIn so you can find out all the good stuff. That didn't sound right. Whoopsie. So I love LinkedIn. Someone said stories feature. We're going to talk about that because I like this feature, but I hated it at first, and I'll tell you why. So what I've created, some of you guys know me, and you know me from the LinkedIn Bakery, serving up bite-sized tips. We're going through a rebranding. So you'll be seeing that coming out hopefully in 30 days. And the new process that I've created is called Connect, Cultivate, Convert. And so when you go to a networking event, you don't walk up to someone and say, hey, Barbara, so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, I see you're a coach. You know what? I'm a LinkedIn strategist. I could help you get seen and be found. Do you want to talk? You don't do that in person. So don't do that online. The number one mistake I see is people hitting the connect button without a message. And the number 2 mistake, once they're connected, they send a sales pitch. I've got a great, and no disrespect to CJ, because I loved your intro. Definitely want to connect with you, okay, afterwards. But then, CJ would connect with me, and then he'd say, hey, I checked out your website. It really needs some work. Let's jump on a call. No, that's not going to happen. Because first, you don't walk up to someone and say, oh, I don't like that dress on you. Or, hey, your hair looks ugly. Or, hey, those are awful shoes. That's not polite. That's not how you network in real person. So don't network like that online. So when you go to, CJ wouldn't do that. I know CJ wouldn't do that. That's why I called him out on that, because he knows that I was just using him as an example. But so many people, you know what? They don't know what they don't know. I was just in Clubhouse today, another great platform. And there's LinkedIn International in there. So I'm always listening and reading and learning what's going on in the world of LinkedIn. And they were just talking about this whole connect thing and kind of my model, which is fine. It should be everyone's model. But they were saying that salespeople are the worst because they have quotas and their boss is telling them, get 100 new connections this week. They're not saying get 10 new qualified leads. They're saying, you got to come to me and you got to show me that you got 100 new connections on LinkedIn. That's the wrong way to go about it. It's not about having the largest network on LinkedIn. It's about having a strategic network on LinkedIn. And this is something that I do one-on-one with my clients, is creating that strategic list. So connecting, who should you be connecting with? When you send that connection request, don't just hit that connect button without a personal note. I just invited everybody to connect with me. Well, there's one thing that my profile is changed from connect to follow. So follow me. And if you send me a personal email, I will allow you to connect with me, because I've gotten too much spam and I have a really strong network. So I'm really careful about who I let in, because I want to see quality content like in my news feed. Oh, you didn't know that? Like, depending who you're connected to, that determines what's in your newsfeed. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Do I connect with everybody? No, absolutely not. So send a personal in-mail or send a personal note when you send a connection request. And when you do that, you have a 53% higher acceptance rate. So why are you going to try to connect with someone on LinkedIn, but not send that note with them if you really want to connect?
Absolutely. For me, if I see that note, I will read it and usually connect. If I don't, I will start questioning it. I'll decide if I really am interested because I expect the sales pitch to come next.
Right. And we're all busy people, right? Who has time to sit there and go look at every profile for someone who doesn't send a note? Because that's what I have to do. If you just hit connect, I don't know about you, but I have to go look at the profile. Is it someone I want in my network? Are they going to sell me something? So take all that out and just send a personal note. Look at what they're posting. Is there, did I post a blog or share a tip? I share tips every Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Did you go and read my last tip on Tuesday? Did you like it? Send that in the note. Hey, Mary, I've been following you for a while. I see you're dropping Tuesday tips. Hey, last week's tip on that photo, the photo enhancer, that was amazing. I'd love to add you to my network. It doesn't have to be this long professional in-mail. As a matter of fact, I want you to make it personal. So connect, make it personal, read their profile, see what content they're putting out. That's connecting. Cultivating. So you got to cultivate the relationship. You don't go on the first date and kiss the person unless you're like me and my husband. It was an accident though. I was not going to kiss him. He was going to kiss my cheek. I had my cheek like this or something and I turned and all of a sudden we were kissing on our first date. But generally, right, you don't go and kiss someone on the first date. You get to know them. So you need to cultivate the relationship. I'm going to follow Gina and see what content she's putting out. And I'm going to nurture and cultivate that relationship by commenting on her content. Like, oh, wow, Gina, I love that you're dropping tax tips on Tuesdays. Like, that is great. I know every Tuesday at 9 a.m., I need to go see what tip you're putting out. I'm going to follow her. I'm going to comment. Okay. Comment is the big key here. That's not the like or the heart or the cell. It's not the emoji or the icon. Those are nice, but those don't really help with the algorithm. So you want to comment. You want to show the person that you're actually investing some time in it, right? So in any great relationships, you invest some time. So you connect properly, do not sell, and then you cultivate the relationship or kind of court the relationship, right? You're kind of courting the person, cultivating. And then you can take that, I always say, take that offline onto a Zoom call or a phone call. And that's where the convert. And I want you guys to know you're not always converting a client. You need to think bigger picture. It could be a collaboration. They could become a referral source for you and you could become a referral source for them. Maybe it's getting somebody on my live show, right? So I have bite-sized tips for busy entrepreneurs. I'm always looking for amazing people to highlight that speak to my audience and their needs. So sometimes, the whole relationship is about getting to know if that's the right person for my audience. Maybe it's someone I want to collaborate with on a remote live producing opportunity. Maybe it's someone that I just love the work they do so much. I need to know more about them. And in the future, I'll send them, referrals. And sometimes it does become a client for me. The last part of the 3C program is that you have to understand LinkedIn's a long game. So what do I mean by that? You don't get overnight results. Now, I have had a client, we worked 3 weeks. She hadn't launched her business. She followed my model and my methods. She got her first client, first full paying client, and hadn't launched her business. So there are those success stories. Typically it takes 3 to 5 months because you're building your brand, adding strategic connections, posting content, consistently, not just once a month, because you want to stay top of mind and tip of tongue. And the way you do that is by being consistent on LinkedIn. So first, you got to get your mindset right. Is your mindset right that, I'm in this LinkedIn game for the long haul? I have people that saw me speak 3 years ago that have now hired me for a biannual contract that is bringing in, I don't know how many figures. I'm so bad with 6 figures. Is that I'm so freaking bad.
Depends where you put the decimal,
It brings in 6 figures a year for me, right? and referrals. So that's a great thing, but they've been following me. I was like, oh, hey, she's like, oh yeah, I saw you did a training and then I've been following you. I love the content. We're looking for LinkedIn trainers to come train our cohorts twice a year. Boom. Golden. So you have to be consistent. So there's really 4 C's if you think about it. Connect, cultivate, convert, and be consistent.
I was going to say that myself. And actually, and the other one that you put in there was comment. So I want to go back to that for a minute.
Damn, do I have to change my tagline now?
Oh, you might. It could be our secret that those two are part of Cultivate. But with the commenting, is it enough to just say, hey, that's great, thanks? Or do you have to be putting content in your comments? Because you said it affects the algorithm, not just the relationship. So say a little bit more on that if you would.
Yeah. So by commenting, it boosts it up in the algorithm. LinkedIn, all their, I'm not a tech person, but the algorithm, right? The likes and the hearts and that doesn't really count. It's like, let's get it on a scale of 1 to 10. If you view it, that's a 1. That I think you have to view it for 3 seconds or something. If you comment on it, maybe you'll get 2 points. I mean, if you like it, you'll get 2 points. If you comment a thoughtful comment, you're probably going to get 10 points. And if you just put great post, you're going to get 3. So does that help?
Matter what you say, yeah.
Yeah, so it does depend on what you say. Now I get it, we're all busy. So I try to pick someone in my network. I'll pick like 4 people for the month, and I'm going to make sure that I go and comment on their stuff. Or like my girl Amy, there's certain people in your circle. And when you start commenting on each other's stuff, then their stuff is their content is going to come up in your newsfeed.
Oh, so I hadn't thought about trying to find people in particular to comment on. I'm usually just commenting on whatever happens to be at the top of my feed.
What do you want to see in your newsfeed? So someone in financial industries, who do you want to see in your newsfeed? What kind of content? So it's really a big game, right? Big picture game here. There's a lot of nuances that go into what you see, right, in your newsfeed, and you want it to be what you need, not what I need, right? Not what Gina needs, not what Jasmine needs. You need to create your newsfeed, and that is really about who you have in your network, right? So another long form tip is you need to go through your network and get rid of people that are no longer serving you. So they've pivoted and they're in an industry that doesn't, you don't want to see their content, right? Like it doesn't help you. It's not where you're at. And so it's just like you pare down your email list, right? Anyone have an email list, right? You go through that. I'm just starting to do that because we were at 8,500 and I was like, I'm paying how much money a month, right? For these people that probably just signed up for a freebie. So we got it down to 5,000. We got rid of 3,500 people on my email list. And most people are like, yeah, I got an email list of 10,000. I got 20,000. That's just numbers. Don't get hooked. Don't get hung up on the vanity number game.
If 2% are opening your notes.
Yeah. Get strategic people, get people that are going to serve you and that you can serve on LinkedIn versus connect. I'm going to add that person. I'm going to add that person.
Okay. So you talk about relatability. What kind of things should we be posting so we have that relatability?
I love this. Is one of my favorite. And this is where most of my clients, this is probably where they struggle with that content piece. So I love coming up. Every time I talk to someone, I have at least 5 content ideas. Literally yesterday, a client was talking. I'm just taking notes. Oh, that's content. Oh, that's content. She was telling me about her trip to Africa. I go, you went on a safari? Oh, that's content. We can wrap that around. We can make it personable, right? So you want to be relatable, authentic, and vulnerable. I want you to talk about your businesses. I want you to be 80% business, and I want to encourage you to infuse 20% of who you are. And that means personal. Do you, are you a volunteer at the Helen Woodworth, Humane Society? Okay. Why do you do that? You have to share who you are, because we all know this one. People do business with what? People they know, like, and trust. Can I know, like, and trust you if I only know about your business? No.
So you really
CJ looked pretty cool. CJ, let me take CJ. If he were to share just that energy on LinkedIn, I'd be like, oh. And CJ, the ironic part is that I just went through a web designer hell, and I've got 2 more quotes that I'm looking over. So I'm like, damn, if I met CJ a week ago. But if he were to do a video and bring that energy and then show his work, but it's like showing who you are, showing up authentically all the time on LinkedIn. So I have a slide when I do presentations, and I'm going to do the imitation. Okay, let's see. Right? I'm like this, and it says me online. And then there's the same exact picture and it says me offline. What does that mean? That means that I'm the same person. And I know so many of you, this is who I am online, and I'm the same person offline. You know why? It's too hard to be two people. So if you're fun, if you have a dry sense of humor, if you're a baker, if you're a surfer, how can you infuse that into your brand? And how can you share elements of who you are, what you believe in, what motivates you? How can you share that in some content and in your profile on LinkedIn so people can relate to you? Because if all Gina talked about was taxes, is that sexy, hot? Is that interesting? No. Matter of fact, it's probably scary for more people. But if she infuses her fun personality, if she infuses the love of something that she loves to do, right? And people can get to know Gina, then they will know, like, and trust. If you know, like, and trust, then they hire you.
Along the way, we usually learn that lesson at some point that we're not going to appeal to everyone, but isn't it better if half the people out there would choose us because they like us and we lose the other half? That's still half the people as compared to everybody just seeing you as one of many. Yeah. And that's such a small portion. With a little bit of the time we have left, can you talk about some of the biggest mistakes people make with their LinkedIn, whether it's their profiles or their way to reach out?
So I think we covered the connecting, like just hitting the connect button. Bad. Don't just hit connect and not send a message. Not having a complete profile. Like if you're not investing in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? If you throw up a crappy profile, you don't have a photo, you have an outdated photo, and then we get on a Zoom call and that photo is like 20 years old, I'll be like, what else are you hiding? Right? Right? So Brenda, I think you've heard the story. Like I went to meet someone and I walked right past them in a Starbucks coffee shop. Why? Because the photo, and it's someone that I love, right? I know and I love them now, but I was like, well, what else is she hiding? Because that photo's got to be 15 years old if it's a day. So you know what? Just be you. COVID hair and all, whatever shape you're in, just be you. Take a real photo and that's like one of the mistakes, and not having it personalized or having it branded. It's 2020, 20 years ago and 20 pounds heavier. Hello.
I just yesterday updated my headshot. It was only from 2019, but it was beardless. And most of the people in this organization have never seen me since before the beard, which is only 2019, but things change.
And so the rule of thumb is like every 3 years, you should have new headshots done. And so I'm overdue. I have some from last year, but my hair is brown because we dyed it brown. That's another story, but I just had my hair done. I had no more COVID hair. Do you know how happy that makes this girl? Do I have a couple minutes to talk about stories, like 30 seconds?
I'm going to say end with that and then tell us how we can reach you.
Okay, so stories. I hated them when they came out. Why? Because they were going to turn my LinkedIn platform into Instagram and Facebook, and that's not what it's for. So I was like, anti-story, I'm not going to use them. They suck. I'm like, what is LinkedIn doing? And then I replied to a story, and it got me a conversation with another LinkedIn expert that's kind of like up here that I would love to have a conversation with. We ended up on a Zoom call. Now it's top of mind, tip of tongue. Why? Because when you reply to a story on LinkedIn, it goes straight into their InMail. It doesn't go to the whole world, right? Just like Instagram, it goes in their inbox. And it's a way to start a conversation that with someone that maybe you're not connected with, maybe someone that you didn't know how to send a message, like there wasn't anything you can say. And this was like, hey, I see that you're speaking all over the place. How are you doing that with your son and being a Zoom mom these days? You are amazing. Literally, that was my response. And it generated, it led to a conversation. It led to a response from her and then a Zoom call. So I think stories are powerful. You can use them for like behind the scenes, your work from home. I did a story earlier that I was speaking. So I put that little graphic that you had done, and then I put the link in there. So
terrific.
Does that help?
I never heard of LinkedIn stories before you mentioned them in an email yesterday. So I need to even find out what that is.
It's on desktop only. It's
Oh, okay.
desktop only. And you
That's
have to
me.
have 5,000 connections in order to have the swipe up feature so that you can put a link to something.
Oh, okay. Good to be aware of. Because
So
otherwise,
much information here in this head.
yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if I'm at 5,000 yet. So if I don't find it now, I know why. But I'm working up to it. Mary, how can people get in touch with you if they say, I need you to be looking at my profile?
LinkedIn is the best way. So Mary Fain
Big
Brandt.
surprise.
Yeah, Google me and I'll come up. I have other platforms. I have a Facebook group you guys can join called The LinkedIn Bakery. It's free. We give free advice. Showcase your businesses on Mondays. You can email me at hello@maryfainbrandt.com. And we can schedule a consultation call for free and just kind of talk things over and make sure it's a good fit and see where you're at. I love meeting my clients where they're at with their level of LinkedIn. So if you're just beginning, no problem. If you've been using it, your profile's all done, but you don't know about your network or your content strategy, there's an art and science, right, to social selling. There's an art and science to connecting on LinkedIn. And that's what I love to help my clients with.
Thanks, Mary. That was so full of information. There's some things I know I'm going to take action on right away. I pasted that email address that she just gave into the chat in case anyone needs to reach out to her. Do you want to paste your LinkedIn there as well?
I did to everyone earlier.
Okay, great. I can't watch the chat quite so much while I'm doing this. So much going on at once. I'm going to go back to my share screen just to wrap things up here. So I got to make sure I'm still in. No, I am not.
Hey, Milo,
yes.
Real quick. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But I wanted to ask, while we wrap up here, Mary, just two quick thoughts and questions. First, this is addressed to all of our SDEBA members. If you don't follow me personally and you don't follow SDEBA on LinkedIn, please do so. I do like all of our members' posts. I respond personally. Sometimes I plug you and your business. And I have a lot of followers. I have a lot of activity on LinkedIn personally and also on SDEBA. So please, as a member, I will do that for you. Just follow me. And then second question, real quick, Mary, I'm seeing a lot of folks that use, I believe, a third party that post things like, I see some of our members who are realtors and they subscribe to a service because I could tell the articles are all like professionally done. They're not from the person. And as we scroll through, I'm thinking, I know there's like 1 or 2 likes. I'm not sure what the point is. And I know if I try to comment, the intended recipient might not even receive my information because they've used this third party to run their LinkedIn.
They're using like automation. They're using an automation tool.
What's your thoughts on that? And I'm sorry, we're getting short on time, but I'm just.
So my thought is everything I teach is organic, right? You don't need to automate on LinkedIn. Maybe at some point you get a VA in to help you manage, but I'm a big X, no, don't automate. LinkedIn was created and developed for networking. Would you send a robot to an in-person event? No. So why would you have a robot messaging your prospective clients? I had a lady who wanted me to do everything on LinkedIn, create her content, respond, do the comments and her inbox. And I was like, no. And then I reached out because I was like, is this where the world's going? I reached out to the other LinkedIn experts and they were all like, no, that's not what we do. People teach that, that's fine. But also LinkedIn can shut down your account if you're caught. There are a few tools that they allow, but I'm just not a big proponent of that. I'm a firm believer in growing your network organically, doing the reach out organically, and creating true, meaningful relationships.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for being with us and sharing that information. One of the best things for me about LinkedIn is when I write to someone and their email bounces, I go straight to LinkedIn and find out where they're at now. Sometimes it's an in at a new company. So my tip of the day is if you haven't updated your email address lately, I can't tell you how often I find people it's 3 jobs ago on their LinkedIn, and so nobody can reach them that way, and that's a shame. So make sure your email address is correct. All right, moving on. So we wrap hopefully very close to on time. Upcoming in the organization, we have what just happened earlier today, navigating the next round of PPP funding for your LGBT business. Why would I plug something that we just missed about an hour ago? It's because we're going to make sure that we put a link to it on our Facebook page. If you are looking for that PPP round 2 funding and haven't started yet, get some more information on how that works because it's a lot of bucks. Our new members mixer, February the 17th, is for new members and potential new members, I believe. So find out more about that. My point is doing a workshop on how to make your money work harder so that you don't have to work so much harder. That's on the 22nd. Latinas in Business Roundtable is on the 24th. And the next Power Lunch is on the 14th of March. I'll talk about that in just a moment. How do you learn more? Always at SDEBA.com. SDEBA.org. Speaking of that March 14th one, we're going to be having Steve Roberts, who wrote the book 9 Steps to Work Less and Do More. Doesn't that sound nice? Working less and doing more. He's a productivity specialist, and he's going to be with us. And I really did get his name right. It's Stever, not Steve. So he's got so many credentials. I'm really excited to have gotten him. By the way, people have said to me, how do you keep getting such great experts to be guests on the show? And the little secret inside tip, don't tell anybody how I do this. I ask them. It's amazing how many people will just say yes if you ask them. In fact, a book I read a couple of years ago, Don't Ask. If you don't ask, you don't get, by Janet Williams, really got me going on that. And I'm hoping now to ask her. She might be one of our guests for an upcoming event as well. To connect directly, this is the chance to connect with people here. So please write to them in the chat area if you want them to. But we're also going to allow, just for a moment, if it's somebody you've seen on here, heard their 30-second pitch, you're like, oh, I didn't get a chance, I really want to reach out to them. This is the time to call out. You can unmute yourself, and I will take a check at who's been unmuted. If I can get that little bar to pop up. I'm not seeing the list of participants right now. But if you want to unmute and call out for somebody, now's a chance to do that. I'm not sure why that's not showing up for me. Anyone who wants to reach out.
Milo, I have the list.
Thank you. I can't see it. I don't know what happens sometimes. I think it's when I'm in share mode, I can't see that. But is there anybody who's unmuting themselves that they wanted to reach out to somebody? Not at the moment. Okay, we'll use the chat area then to let somebody know if there's somebody you want to speak to. Something like that. We just say it.
Emailing people through LinkedIn.
That's great. Linking in.
I want to give a shout out to Brenda for being so awesome. I have seen her 23 bottles of pills before in a different presentation. Brenda, you're amazing.
Which gets us to the next thing, the testimonials about other people here. Gina was the first one to do that. Thank you. If there's somebody here you want to say just how great they are, go ahead and shout it out for me.
Well, don't forget Mary's amazing.
That's true too. No question.
Shines.
Anyone else here that you've worked with that you want to just say, wow, this person did an amazing thing for me? I know we're in the last minute here. Go for it.
Paula Rita with her merchant service has really done a great job for me.
Thank you.
Cost-wise, was able to reduce the costs on that. And I do a lot of my printing with Todd Kazin. So Todd's been a strong believer of MindMasters and a support for me as well.
I've got some great print products from Todd that I'm still holding on to and using now and then when I'm in person. I can't wait to be in person and hand them to people again too. Terrific. We'll have more testimonials on the next one. Sometimes we have time for testimonials about SDEBA, but we gave Mary a little extra time. So we'll let people share how much they loved SDEBA at another meeting, but I promise you they do if you're a guest. Let's move on. There we go. Please do follow us. As Jeremy was saying, our Facebook page is facebook.com/ the name of the organization. And our LinkedIn name is a little cryptic, so I created this. It's tinyearl.com, LinkedIn SDEBA. That'll take you to the really long, clunky one that it's actually connected to. Guests can join our distribution list. You don't have to be a member to get notified about upcoming events, but we do hope you'll want to become a member at some point. And you can by clicking the Join SDEBA on the website right up there on the first page, or by reaching out to Dorian himself. If Jeremy, could you pop that email address into the chat? Because I know it's a hard one to remember. Dorian.brewer.vachbut@statefarm.com. He is our membership chair, and he'd love to tell you a little bit more about becoming a member.
Oh,
please do. You got that?
I didn't have enough time to type it in.
Oh, yep, there you go. Do you got the end of it there? It's that Vachbut part that's always the tough part, but I've got that down now.
Okay, go ahead.
That's why I usually have him do it. If in case you don't know how to do it, you can save the chat if people have been saying things that you want to keep track of by clicking those 3 dots and the save chat. It'll put it in a file called meeting_saved_chat.txt somewhere on your computer. You could search for it, but at least you'll know how to do it. Come on, it's the participants window. There we go. I want to say thank you to all of our first responders and military people out there who are making it possible for us to be able to do the things that we do right now. And a final thought with this photo right now, they tried to bury us. They didn't know that we were seeds. So anytime somebody is raining on your parade, they're just giving you a little more strength to bounce back all the stronger. We thank you for being here today. If you have thoughts on today's meeting, you can send them to the organization info@sdeba.org or to me, Milo@miloshapiro.com. Another thank you once again to Mary for being so generous with her time and her thoughts, and anything else she wants to share with you one-on-one, terrific. Reach out to her. I think that's the last slide.
Great group today.
Can we all take ourselves off mute? Because I think we should give Milo a round of applause for what he's been doing all these meetings for us.
Thank you.
We really do
Good job, Milo.
very efficient.
Thank you, Milo.
Merc,
Thank you.
it's been a real pleasure to do it and create this, because I was the one who came up with this idea based on another group that I'm in with CJ and Brenda that also reaches out this way. And I don't want us to feel isolated. I miss those mixers so much, but this is the closest thing we have to it. And in some ways also more efficient. I don't get to meet everyone at a mixer. I get to meet all of you in this. So I look forward to this each month. So that wraps up our official meeting, and we're going to click the stop on the record after saying we'll see you next month on, what is it, in March?